So in this short video, we try to understand two questions. Why is it called peptic ulcer disease? Why not just gastric or duodenal ulcer disease? And second, what is the connection between chronic gastritis and peptic ulcer disease? So let me start with the second question first, that what is the connection between peptic ulcer disease and the chronic gastritis? So the concept is this, that chronic gastritis is the cause and effect is peptic ulcer disease is nothing but a complication of chronic gastritis. So what is today's chronic gastritis can be day after tomorrow's peptic ulcer disease. This is a basic concept that you need to understand. Now why this is happening? Because chronic gastritis refers to a long-standing inflammation of the stomach lining, which weakens its defense mechanisms against the gastric acid and pepsin. So chronic gastritis essentially is altering the balance between mucosal protection, that is mucus bicarbonate, and acid and pepsin production, and that increases the chance to have ulcer formation. So remember that peptic ulcer disease actually occurs as a complication of chronic gastritis, typically like chronic gastritis due to H. pylori. Now I'm coming to the second part, that why it is called peptic ulcer disease. Why not just gastric ulcer or duodenal ulcer? So the term peptic ulcer disease basically originates from pepsin, which is a digestive enzyme activated by stomach and which helps breaking down the proteins. So as I mentioned already, that this is activated by gastric acids and this helps breaking down protein, this pepsin. So pepsin contributes to the damage of the stomach or duodenal lining, particularly when the protective mucosal barrier is compromised. So any kind of ulcer which is happening by contributing by this pepsin plus acid, that means you can think of peptic ulcer disease as acid plus pepsin enzyme damage syndrome. And whenever acid and pepsin go unchecked, the ulcers can form. And these ulcers are called peptic ulcer disease. The term peptic ulcer disease is not specific for any organ actually. It means that ulcer that can occur in any area due to this gastric acid and pepsin damage. It's as I mentioned already, that you can think of peptic ulcer disease as acid plus enzyme damage syndrome. And if it is occurring in duodenal ulcer, duodenum, it is called duodenal ulcer because it is a typical site for peptic ulcer disease. Similarly, when it is occurring in stomach, we call it gastric ulcer. But it's not specific for any organ, as you need to understand this. So the key idea is this, that peptic ulcer disease is called peptic ulcer disease because of the involvement of the pepsin, which is a digestive enzyme activated by stomach acid. And whenever there is a ulcer is forming in any organ which is contributed by this acid plus pepsin mediated damage, we call that peptic ulcer disease. So, and it includes ulcers in both the stomach and duodenum, as they share the same root cause, which is acid and pepsin. And other locations where it can be seen this peptic ulcer disease are lower esophagus in reflux disease, or jejunum you can even see in the Joling-Allison syndrome. They can be exposed to the acid and pepsin, broadening the term. And sometimes even it can be seen in the Meckel's diverticulum too. So the point is that this is not any specific organ wise, it can happen in any organ. That's the point you need to understand.